guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering.
Are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome. Just a little thought, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You remember a few months ago we had some technical hiccups and some of you got unsubscribed. It was no fault of yours.
Mm-mm.
It was our little hiccup. So if you wouldn't mind resubscribing and rating us, we'd love.
Yes.
We would
appreciate
we'd love
it.
you and appreciate it.
Yes.
So don't forget to subscribe and rate.
And also leave us a rating, please.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Today we are talking about weird questions people were asked by potential employers in an interview. When I tell you, these are some doozies, okay?
I've had a couple weird ones, but I can only imagine what the internet has compiled.
Okay, so this person has a uniquely spelled name. And so the interviewer asked if they had spelled their name correctly, like thinking maybe it's a typo or something on the resume. And the person said, yes, that's correct. And joked about it. My parents gave me a weird name.
I get this all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And the interviewer inquired, are you sure? And then they're saying, did not get the job. So it's kind of like, so your parents can't spell.
Are you sure this is your name?
Y'all, this is so funny. I remember somebody telling me, somebody was pregnant that I knew. I asked, what are the names? And so I can't even remember what the name was. Just say Joe or, Rob, Bob. But she spelled it. It was like Bob. Oh, how are you going to spell that? And it was like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And in my mind, I'm like, that doesn't spell Bob. I didn't say that one. I kept saying, how do you spell it? I must have asked 5 times. The person I was with kind of, shut up.
Right.
I was like, I could, like, that doesn't spell that. But okay. So I guess this person had one of those kind of names.
But how are you going to ask somebody, are you sure? I'm sure this has been my government
Once they said yes, let it go.
That's right. Because you do want to make sure there wasn't a typo.
It was the same way because it just doesn't, it's not.
Could you run that
together?
Again? Yeah.
The phonetics.
But I feel like in an interview, this person applied with this name. You reached out to them for an interview with this name. Once they say yes, that's their name.
You have to let it go. Yeah.
Just in an interview.
I agree. Okay, so this next one, a person asked, if this job offered no money, would you still want to work here? They're like, no. The answer is no. Because it wasn't a job. But just the nerve, would you work here? That would be a negative. Okay, what's the most dangerous animal you'd be willing to fight? That's the question in the interview.
This is something I would ask.
So the person said people did not get the job.
That's fair though.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
This one, the person asked, what church do you go to?
Mm-mm.
So they're in kind of an open room. I mean, they're maybe in a little cubicle, but other people, they're hearing you. So the whole place goes silent because everybody knows you're not supposed to ask that.
What church do you go to?
So the person continued, well, I don't care what church you go to, but I do want to know you have some sort of spiritual life and moral compass. That's a no. So just FYI, the Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin in the context of a company's hiring process. The only exception is if the job requires religion as a bona fide occupational qualification.
Correct.
Now that would be like a chaplain.
Yes.
A assistant pastor.
Yes.
Or something like that, where you need this religious affiliation.
That's kind of what you need to be.
Right. So now that's part of the job.
I just want to know, as if attending church gives you a moral compass. Well, and we've met some folks.
Yes. Okay, so that's just FYI.
For those of y'all that don't know, we met through church. Even though we never met at church, it's a whole funny story. But maybe one day we'll do an episode on how we met. But we met through church.
Well, another friend of ours.
Yes. Funny enough, her father-in-law is a chaplain.
Yes.
So, yes, super sweet guy.
She and I were doing events for the church.
Correct.
And we never got people to
Mm-mm.
help or
No.
anything, you know. And
We
then
were
some of
the-
them that
We
would
were
be
the
like,
three little people that did
yeah.
hospitality.
So she said, "Oh, I met somebody that can help us." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, she would be good." So that's how we met. So it was Natasha.
It was me.
So okay. Um, Another question.
Ooh.
If you were to choose between spending time with family or the company, which would you choose?
No.
So after the employee stated that my family, of course, the interviewer ended the call citing the person did not possess the values required for the job. Can you say work-life balance? Five times real quick.
It's so rare that I'm like speech.
I mean, these blew me away, y'all. Okay, if you were to go into your room right now, would your bed be made? If I were to go into your room,
the interviewer
is asked, if I were to go into your room, would your bed be made? Now, unless you're housekeeping, does it matter? Really?
And okay.
I mean, mine is.
And mine is
like,
too, but like, and what does that tell you
yeah,
about me?
not a damn thing. I just like to make my
Now,
bed. I don't like to get into a messy bed at night.
I wonder if they're like military. You know, that's where mine kind of comes from.
Now, this. I think it was BuzzFeed. They didn't give a lot of.
Yeah, I know. They don't give a lot of background.
Okay, if someone tried to rob us, how would you protect the cash register? What? And then the person said, I wouldn't protect the cash register.
You have insurance.
My
business.
And you know, I worked retail for years.
You did.
And they would always tell us if somebody came in and was let everything go. Don't risk your life.
Yes.
Don't try to get into it with anybody. Just give them what they asking for.
Yes.
My gosh.
How would you protect? I'm not over
well,
this.
They said I'm not doing it.
And what I'm not gonna do is that.
Yeah, I'm protecting my life probably. What would be a good reason not to hire you for this position? And the person said a better candidate, which is awesome. That's a good response.
You know my issue with every single one of these? Every response given was honest. Yes. The fact that that's not enough says so much about the world we live in.
Now, some of them, they don't say this
with your family or the company.
I'm thinking,
my family.
I'm interviewing you too.
Oh,
so some of these, it's like I'm backing out. You know, even no matter what goes down after this, I'm backing out.
Like, shameless book plug here. There's a book that changed my life just in dealing with people in general. But if you work, you could lose your job, which means you should always be interview kind of ready, you know, kind of brushing up. It's Secrets of Six-Figure Women. And in the intro, she was like, when I titled the book, I realized it sounds so exclusive, like it's only for women. But a lot of men have read the book and they were like, wow, like mind blown. But that's one of she talks about kind of how to handle
like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, and there's a lot that goes into it. It's actually a really good book. I challenged myself to read it. Gosh, 2019. It's been some years. I will tag it in the show notes for this. But Secrets of Six-Figure Women changed my whole life on how I interview. And I'm hearing some of these and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she was so right. Like,
and if you, at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are looking to change jobs, get promotions, things. So that might be that's a good one.
So I'm gonna tag it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
If you could get away with it, would you steal from us? That was actually a question. And let's face it, if you were, would you tell it? Like, oh my gosh. Is that insane? No.
You just like that. Well, shit. Yeah. If I can, I can hit a lick. I'm gonna hit a lick. Maybe don't say that in an interview.
Are you planning on getting pregnant?
I told you.
Yes.
I was asked this question.
Against the law, y'all.
I was asked this question. I was interviewing at the time. I worked at a major children's hospital here in Texas. You can look it up because y'all know where we live, right? We're in DFW. And I was interviewing outside of them. So it was not them. It was another medical facility. And, you know, you're kind of excited. This is many years ago. I had just got married. And the lady complimented my ring. She said, oh, you have a rose gold ring? I said, oh, yeah, I do. You know, I just got married. You know, all the whatever. Married or engaged, one or the other. I can't remember. And so I go in. She's on the panel. And the guy asked me if I was pregnant or planned to become pregnant soon. And my antennas went up like, ugh, what? It just seemed so inappropriate to me, even though, I mean, I was much younger, many years ago. And then I said, well, no, we just got married. We kind of want to enjoy that. And, you know, I own a business and yada, yada. And he said, well, if you were to give birth, hypothetically, do you think you'd breastfeed?
It's almost like, and can I watch?
I remember thinking,
pervert.
what? And
oh my god!
And funny enough, that's what made me read the book, Secret of Six Figure Women.
Oh,
that's when I started looking up, because I felt like I had a really good interview. I felt like the only person who behaved in a way that you wouldn't want to be shown was that one person from the panel, that guy. And they went with another candidate who happened to be a male.
And which, mind you, they don't ask them.
They don't ask.
Are you and your wife planning to have a baby?
Yes,
are you, you know, are you going to breastfeed?
Are you going to breastfeed? And y'all, you know, mind you, this is as small as the girls get, and I'm a double D. So when he asked me, I was somewhere between this
eyes up here, eyes up here,
my face is up here, and I was kind of like,
it's sexual harassment in the workplace. Is really what it is.
I really think he was trying to see, do we have to make accommodations? That's really, I don't think it was so sexual, but it was just, it was.
I've had a past made at me during a job thing. Oh, like actually grabbed me, kind of, you know, in a kind of,
okay.
Yeah. So this happens. Okay, where do you live? Do you have a boyfriend? What does your father do for a living?
What? Wait. In an interview?
In an interview. Those were the three questions. They asked this woman, where do you live? Which, not telling you that.
Shocker.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Assuming that I'm straight.
And what does your father do for a living?
Carry guns. But see, then if I answered it, you know, if I answered how I would answer.
Yeah, they back up.
But
honestly, any one of these almost, I'm backing up anyway. Give me one good reason why we should give you this job. And the reply was, give me one good reason why I should accept it. And they got the job.
That's fair. They got the job.
Yeah. So I'm interviewing you too. Okay, I love that.
I love that company. Shout out to that company.
Well, listen to this one, y'all. Will you pray with me? Now, if you're not interviewing to be somebody's pastor, that's a no. Like, I'm not bringing my spiritual life into the workplace. Unless it's a spiritual job. And these people.
That's nuts. And even we both identify as Christian. We actually do pray together. We pray for one another. I'm so offended by that.
I know.
None of your sticky beeswax.
And then let me hush. I would say this person probably asking, you know, you kind of want to hear their, know how they're living. Because a lot of them, it's just talk, you know. They asked a potential employee who was in their late 30s, mind you, what their high school GPA was. And they were like, I have slept since then. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
How is it pertinent to that? And this is not like a newly graduated high schooler. This is still probably wouldn't matter. You're probably working at where? Subway or McDonald's. Like, does it really matter what your GPA was?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. Yeah, but they asked that.
Hell, I don't remember my college one, and that's more
recent. But so this person had been out of school 20 years, and they were asking. Okay, when interviewing for a public school teaching position, was asked if she went to church and had a boyfriend. Now.
Oh, here we
that's
go.
Probably the morality clause. Yes. A lot of school districts do have those. Well, so in fairness to them, although this wasn't the way to ask it, which I don't know that you can ask, how do you ask if you're
boinking?
Right. But I guess that was their way.
And for some of y'all, depending on your age group or even your religious affiliation, like, for example, my kids go to they happen to go to a Christian private school. So their teachers are held to a different standard than like regular independent school district teachers. So like,
in the private school, they get to make their own rules.
They do get to make their own rules.
But public schools and even now, and I don't know, some of them, like if you got pregnant out of wedlock, that could cost you your job.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that now, but
if there was
like
some
that.
kind of, you know, scandalous, you were having an affair with somebody, you were doing something, I don't even know what all the parameters were, but it could cost you your job. So the only reason I'm not giving it a pass, but in some districts that would be something, right?
That you may be leaving out the fact that, oh, I interviewed at, you know, Radford Christian Academy.
Right,
well,
right,
yeah, that's why
right.
they asked you.
Yeah. No, it's at a public school.
Oh,
but in Texas, that's
but in Texas,
because I knew someone that
Florida
got pregnant out of wedlock, and she was fearful of losing her job. It didn't happen; they didn't, but she could have.
Before we end this episode, we want to take a moment to share. We have an Etsy shop. Our Etsy shop is Are You Free for Coffee podcast, and we recently launched an activities book. This was inspired because Lisa's grandsugars come over every weekend, and every weekend she's looking for something for them to do. And so they love to color. So we launched an activities booklet. We can print it and ship it to you, or you can select the downloadable one. We drop a new one every single month, and the purpose was kind of inclusion and diversity, and then to keep them busy. So there's a variety of activities. There's over 20 pages. You can print what you want. You can, save what you don't want to print. There's also a little bit in there for the parents. Every month there's like a recipe. There is affirmation cards. And so it's just kind of a fun thing. So if you didn't know we have a shop, Are You Free for Coffee podcast shop on Etsy has mugs, snarky t-shirts, and also activity booklets and more digital downloads.
We'll put a link.
Yeah, we'll put a link in this episode.